The surface of the ocean was roaring, and the many blocks of ice floating there were flying about, and the owner of this world, Siyong, was floating in midair. He currently had a very troubled expression. Obviously, in this short time, this domain lord had forced him into such a state of rage. It was humiliating, a sector lord's humiliation. Words are useless. Luo Feng was dressed in black. Standing far in the distance, his body once again became a blur, and through the Masha clansman's use of illusionary techniques movement, it was like a fish in water. His close combat instantaneous acceleration far exceeded that of this sector lord. An illusion appeared. Siyong immediately retreated. Explode! Siyong roared. Immediately, the two black and white alls before him let out a glaring light. The surroundings about the white all became extremely cold and froze into ice. Snow was fluttering about. The area surrounding the black all, however, howled, as the black water took shape, making the black all like a black dragon. A black water dragon and a white ice dragon interweaved about, even shaking the entire world. The endless world energy poured into these two dragons, of which the black dragon was filled with endless energy while the white was filled with absolute killing intent. This move was called the dual dragon pierce. It was Siyong's trump card from studying the water origin laws. While maybe his comprehension levels didn't compare to Luo Feng's, however, it was still infused with origin laws. Also, in terms of pure power and the world pressure, his advantage was obvious. The two dragons flew around each other like a huge electric drill, immediately creating an image and reaching right before Luo Feng. That speed! It's so fast. Luo Feng, who was moving at his max speed, looked at the black and ice dragon that seemed to reach him in an instant. He became a blur for a moment before changing his direction and dodging. Simultaneously, a six-edged shield appeared before him, defending him. That push from the shield seemed simple enough. However, it was almost as though the entire space was pushed back. The black and ice dragons that were weaving in and out together were affected by the space pressure. Due to this, they clashed into the six-edged shield, and as they clashed, the two dragons exploded with terrifying power, knocking Luo Feng far back as fresh blood spurted from his mouth. At this point, the six-edged shield too was knocked far away. The core of the two dragons, the black and white alls, revealed their true state and pierced straight at Luo Feng. Luo Feng, who was in midair, immediately dodged. Over 10K images appeared in the surroundings. Clash, explode, and pierce. Luo Feng looked at his hand below. The left arm, which was completely broken from holding the shield earlier, was bloody. However, black energy was wrapped around it, and in an instant, it completely recovered. After infusing with the origin laws, world energy, and an entire world behind this attack, when the two spirit weapons combined. This move is extremely powerful. Siyong, who was floating in mid-air, looked delighted initially. However, right after he began to rage. Howling, "You still aren't dead? I don't believe you can't die." Siyong howled. His face was pale as he pointed with gritted teeth, seemingly using his full concentration to control the spirit weapons. The two alls immediately formed an arc, and the air about them once again concentrated into an icy aura and the ice dragon, while the other black one had black water surrounding it, forming a black water dragon. It was even clearer than the earlier move. The two dragons' claws, horns, and wings were complete this time. Go and die, die, die. Siyong was completely immersed in madness. The two huge dragons howled through the surroundings. Who knew whether it was them howling or just the sound waves generated from their extreme speed? The two life-like dragons spiraled, their tails waving about, claws glistening in the light. Their bodies rushed forward, and immediately countless images vanished. Luo Feng was finally forced into a difficult situation. There's an absolute difference of at least 10 times. He has the world to help him, along with comprehension of water laws. This is a spirit reader that extremely hard to deal with. Even with this Masha body, it's a very taxing to battle. However, only this can be considered a challenge. Luo Feng moved as fast as he could. The Masha clansmen was the strongest assassins in the universe. They were proficient in stealth killings, and the illusionary techniques was just one path for it. The illusionary techniques combined with the Masha clansmen's illusions was an absolute combo. Under Siyong's mad howls, even though Luo Feng was injured time and again, he still managed to survive. As for the injuries, the Masha clansman's body was an energy life form. Its wounds could recover swiftly. Luo Feng spit out fresh blood again, once again dodging. The flash of a blade was clawed away by the ice dragon. Its claw was completely destroyed, however, it quickly reformed. And as Luo Feng was knocked away, he dodged and once again vanished. How can this be? Why is he still not dead? Si-Yong stared wide-eyed. With a struggling expression, he said, "He's only at domain level, and I am at world level. Just what ghostly movement allows him to move that quickly and so unpredictably? Getting injured time and again. Yet it has no effect at all." Si-Yong floated in mid-air, controlling the two spirit weapons to attack Luo Feng. Obviously, he had the upper hand. However, he was still unable to achieve victory. He was pressuring Luo Feng over and over, but Luo Feng seemed fine. That movement was ghostly, and his attacks were as terrifying as before. This made Si-Yong extremely troubled. "I can only shrink the area. After that, the area I need to focus my attacks in will be smaller. This way, the efficiency will be higher." Si-Yong realized the problem, as the area they were fighting in was too huge. It allowed Luo Feng to easily dodge 10 kilometers away and flash about hundreds of times. With such a huge space, when Luo Feng unleashed his movement, the two spirit weapons naturally couldn't achieve victory. The two huge dragons retreated and stayed close to Si-Yong. Luo Feng would be attacked within a 100 kilometers diameter area before. However, now with him retreating, only when Luo Feng entered a 30 kilometers diameter area around Si-Yong was he attacked. The area was smaller. Naturally, the efficiency was higher. "Smart, you finally realized the problem." Having been forced back time and again, unable to even approach Si-Yong, Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. He immediately rushed at Si-Yong, and as he did, the two spirit weapons didn't even budge. As he drew closer, however, only then did they howl out. The reduced battle area made the two dragons instantly close their distance with Luo Feng, making it taxing on Luo Feng to dodge. One clash made Luo Feng's entire body tremble, and fresh blood spurted from his mouth, nose, and even ears. He could only retreat and dodge. "Ha ha ha." Seeing the obvious advantage, Si-Yong laughed loudly. "A world level is a world leader. A domain level is just a domain level. No matter how much of a genius you are, you'll still die without a doubt." Luo Feng dodged time and again drawing closer to Si-Yong. The smaller battle area had its pros and cons. The good thing was that with his speed at close distance, he could occasionally get close to Si-Yong. The bad part was, the closer he got, the faster the attacks were even and the reaction time was shorter, almost like a ghostly flash. He closed in the 30 kilometers distance and instantly reaching about 100 m away from Si-Yong. Si-Yong controlled his four-sided shield and simultaneously used his two spirit weapons to surround and attack Luo Feng. "I didn't believe that with such close distance, you will be able to withstand up to 3 attacks. But 10 to 100 attacks?" Si-Yong howled. "Burial." Luo Feng roared softly, unleashing his strongest move. The gray flash of the blade was brutal, instantly slicing through 10 m of distance and slashed at Si-Yong. The power of that flash, the intrepid energy was simply terrifying. The surrounding space around it was completely controlled. The flash headed forward and had a hint of gold light. "Illusionary 7 blades, burial. It's useless." Si-Yong laughed. His two-sided shield came over to block. The first side was knocked back, but the second managed to block the blade. The two dragons howled from behind, attacking Luo Feng. The blade had yet to have any effect. Luo Feng squinted and immediately released the blade in his hand. His right hand suddenly grew longer. It was originally a normal human arm. In an instant it grew and pierced swiftly towards the shield, extending over 10 m long. Its life crystal too was within that right arm. The two huge dragons clashed into his body and it immediately exploded, fresh blood and bones scattering. "What?" Si-Yong looked at the sudden growth of the right arm that extended and was extremely shocked. How did his arm grow so long? Is it from the armor? It's useless. His body has been destroyed. Even if the life crystal is okay, without a flesh body to trigger it, it's unable to trigger sufficient energy. Si-Yong was calm. Triggering energy required passing through the backbone and muscles, etc. Once the body was destroyed, leaving only a broken arm, what was the use? The blade flashed and instantly sliced through Si-Yong's neck, piercing into his body and scanning within. It pierced straight into the life core and broke it. How is that possible? Si-Yong stared wide-eyed. How can a fake hand extended from the armor unleash such terrifying blade work? Once the body is destroyed, how can it even attack with power? Before dying, many thoughts passed through Si-Yong's mind, following which, he crumbled and his consciousness faded. The two huge dragons immediately crumbled and fell, revealing two spirit weapons. The world around too crumbled and the endless ocean dissolved, revealing a decimated mountain range. The spirit weapons fell from mid-air, The shield too followed suit. Si Yong was defeated. That broken arm instantly wrapped itself with black energy, and as the energy gathered, it became a black-clothed Luo Feng. His eyes were filled with fatigue, however also with ecstasy and excitement. I've succeeded. Luo Feng lowered his gaze to look at Si Yong's body, thinking within, a true human. If their body was destroyed, they can only use spirit attacks, and not close-quarters physical attacks. However, the Masha clansman is an energy life form. If I wanted to, I could change to tens of millions of things, much less a broken limb. I can even change into a cloud contact vine, a stone, and I'd still be able to attack. The Masha clansman could transform into almost anything, be it humans, bones, muscles, skin, the internal organs, hair, eyes and nose, etc. All would be exactly similar to that of a real human. Even if it got injured and its bones broke, the impact causing blood to be spit out, everything was exactly like that of a real human. And if it changed to a golden horned beast, similarly, every scale, horn, even the engravings on the scales. Of course, the larger the size, the more energy it required. Even if the Masha clansman transformed into the golden horned beast, it would only be a 10 huge golden horned beast. If it wanted to transform to tens of km, hundreds of km like the mountain range like huge beast, the energy within the life crystal would be depleted very quickly. Night. The cold winds blew. The mountain range was reduced to a wasteland. Black-clothed Luo Feng gazed down below. I actually used the Masha body to kill Si Yong? Luo Feng was excited. Even though the Masha clansman is strong, it's still after all strong in assassination only. During a true 1v1 battle like this, there are many stronger than the Masha clansman. If it were the 12 pinnacle bloodlines of the space beasts, which of them weren't incomparably intrepid? And just like the ancient beast in the ancient pictures in Blood River world, which was just as intrepid, and the pinnacle of the bug clan in the universe, the mother nest, and the metal life forms, plant life forms, the powerful existences, these were all beings comparable to the golden horned beast. All of them were incredibly intrepid. The Masha clansman is strong in assassination. Actually, I only required to kill one of his disciples and transform into him. Then using the natural ability to imitate that disciple's energy, Luo Feng thought, that way, even if I stood before Si Yong, he wouldn't sense any problem at all. When I get close, with him defenseless, I'll kill him in an instant. That would be much easier than fighting it out like before. Luo Feng was clear. Allowing the Masha clansman to assassinate Si Yong wouldn't have been a challenge at all. The main thing was its natural ability to duplicate was simply too sick. Completely imitating a person, not just in appearances but in energy too? One wouldn't even detect anything. Even in the vast universe, with countless races, the Masha clan still struck fear in all these races as the most terrifying assassins. If its natural ability wasn't so powerful, it wouldn't have gotten the name universe's strongest assassins. I was able to kill him, even though it was partially due to Si Yong's poor comprehension of the laws. However, with the gap in our power, I still succeeded. It also shows that my improvement over these 80 years was huge. Luo Feng was happy within, gazing below at the decimated mountain range. As Si Yong's internal world crumbled, large amounts of treasures were scattered throughout. Luo Feng collected Si Yong's space item and placed the valuable treasures casually within. As for the others, how much wealth could a sector lord have? In the universe, one with 10 mixed elements was already wealthy. Much less the aboriginals of this Blood River world. Only very few were worthy of Luo Feng's attention. The other items, added together, were far from one mixed element's worth. With Luo Feng's status, whatever he needed all used points after all. He rushed into the sky, leaving behind the decimated mountain range and Si Yong's body, along with large amounts of treasure that he wasn't even interested in or were worthless to him. However, within half a day after his departure, a team had discovered the area with the items. A few domain lords were going crazy over them, and this team madly began to compete and kill amongst themselves. And as the large amount of treasures created a big stir within Swallow Mound City, countless began to join in the war for the items. Also, the news about the death of Si Yong had spread. Si Yong's death. Immediately, the surrounding large world leaders began their attacks to snatch the territory. Si Yong's power quickly faded into dust. There wasn't even anyone trying to avenge him, much less go after Naku and Nabu. This is what Big Brother Feng left for us? The silver-haired youth Naku brought his father finally to a hiding place to rest. Only then did he open the space ring to check. Shocked. Cuckoo. What's the matter? Nabu was curious. Big Brother Feng left us a large amount of wealth. So much more than our family's wealth from before, millions of times more. Naku was shocked. Naba's eyes gleamed immediately. Haha, our Na family will rise up again, stronger and bigger than before. With this wealth, it'll be easy from now. Naku, our gamble back then was right. Naka nodded, worrying within about Luo Feng. Big Brother Feng said he'd go stop Si-Yong. However, later on, when the news of Si-Yong's death spread, especially the location of his death, Naku and Nabu were overwhelmed with shock. Obviously, the place where Si-Yong died was where Luo Feng was waiting before. Big Brother Feng killed Si-Yong? Lord Feng killed Si-Yong? Naku and Nabu were shocked. As for whatever happened later in Blood River World, Luo Feng naturally didn't know. After killing Si-Yong, Masha Luo Feng rushed into the sky back into the automaton ship and began his departure. Blood River World. Standing in the control room, he looked back at the endless vast continent. This was a place completely subdued and observed by the Virtual Universe Company. Here's where we part, little Naku. Once I reach Domain Lord level, I'll be sent into territories as an envoy around the universe. At Sector Lord level, I'll be going through hellish training too. I'm afraid I won't return for a very, very long time. I hope that when I eventually do, I'll still be able to see you. Luo Feng knew. It would probably be tens of thousands of years before he could actually return. However, with regards to Blood River World, he was still filled with curiosity. There would eventually be a day when he would return to investigate everything properly. The fog covered the distant space. An incomparably huge palace floated there. That was Tian Palace. Because of this palace's existence, the many powerful warriors of Blood River World didn't dare leave. Since the ancient times till now, they were all stuck within their world. The palace in space was larger than even a planet. At this time, a little dot flew out from the palace and swiftly headed towards Luo Feng's automaton ship. It was a triangular black ship with a diameter of 800 m. Your Majesty Luo Feng, how are you? I am the receiver of Tian Palace, Missouri Luaka. Congratulations on your Majesty's completion of the Blood River World mission. The ship drew closer to Luo Feng's automaton ship, sending a message over. Very quickly, with the ship leading, Luo Feng arrived within a vast hall in the first level of Tian Palace. The hall was at least 1,000 kilometers in length and width. Luo Feng kept his automaton ship and stood shocked within the hall. In this hall, there were many other ships stopped there, taking up more than half of the area. Every ship, according to his visual perception, were at least E-grade ships. Some of the ships were even F-grade. Your Majesty Luo Feng, dressed in silver armor with 6 eyes and blue skin. The Sector Lord Mo Luo Ku stood beside and lead the way. Speaking fluent universe language, his voice was very clear and resounding. You actually stayed in Blood River World for 80 years. That's really shocking. The main thing was the Blood Warrior mission. Luo Feng smiled as he walked. Different from Blood River World, even though there were many races within that world, most of them looked pretty similar. However, the human races were too many in the universe. With countless races, all sorts of appearances were present. Blood Warrior mission? Has your Majesty completed it? Mo Luoku was shocked. Luo Feng nodded. Wow, congratulations, your Majesty. Mo Luoku smiled. I've seen and received many geniuses who've attempted this mission, even those from the huge Axe and Universe Mercenary Alliance. However, very few are actually able to become Blood Warriors. Because absorbing 3 Blood River crystals normally required them to stay in the ancient god ruins for extended periods. Many of them don't have that much patience. And it's also very dangerous within the ruins. Luo Feng nodded. The two walked and chatted. Even though they weren't rushing, in a few minutes they had passed a 1,000 kilometers distance swiftly and arrived at the stairs of the second floor. The stairway was incredibly vast. Every level was 100 m high, 10 kilometers long and 5 kilometers wide. It was entirely made of ceramic. Each stairway had at least 1,000 levels, spiraling upwards. We can only proceed from here to head upstairs. Sector Lord Mo Luoku smiled. The two became beams of light and followed the stairs upwards. There's no need to head up right. Just arrange a universe ship for me and send me off. Wouldn't that do? Luo Feng asked. It's our leader of the Tian Palace. He wishes to see you. Mo Luoku said. The leader? Luo Feng was shocked. Tian Palace's leader, what status was that? He was someone who was watching over in this palace. The many powerful beings of Blood River World, and even amongst the Virtual Universe Company, he would definitely be considered an absolute being in the upper echelon. Sector Lord Mo Luoku's eyes were filled with envy. smiling. I've been in this palace for so many years. I've yet to meet him face to face. Our leader has unbelievable power. With just him being here, those undyings from the undying shrine in Blood River World, and all the ancient beings, none of them dare come out. For the leader to wish to see you is your good luck. Why does he wish to see me? Luo Feng was curious. The leader of Tian Palace, that level of being, he was at least a universe country leader level, or even stronger. How else could he control Blood River World with fear? To the geniuses, that level of being didn't care much for them at all. These beings were all ancient eternal beings within the universe. The reason behind him wanting to meet you? Why would I, such a small figure, know? Sector Lord Mo Luoku smiled. My authority is only to send you to the second level. I don't even dare to follow after. However, there will be someone there to receive you and take you straight to the 9th level to meet the leader. The moment he finished speaking, the two arrived at the second level of the palace. Luo Feng gazed far ahead and spotted a 3m tall, messy-haired man with a huge axe on his back. Vaguely, that man was almost like a tall mountain that made hearts tremble. The energy he emitted seemed even more terrifying than the God General 13 from back in Ganwu Universe Country.